Hello?
On the internet.
Are we here? It'd help if I had the chat up.
Can't hear us, unfortunately.
There we go, there's chat.
Hello? You here? That I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go, but at no point did I think that I actually, once I get here, I have to make things.
Yeah.
No point did that occur to me.
Well, I've been, as I've said, I've been doing stuff like all day, and I was even aware in the back of my brain of like, I need to think of something for art stream. I haven't done any art like at all over Christmas.
Yes.
I need to think of something to draw. Nah.
I've also been doing shit all day, and I forgot that Tuesdays existed before Blue was like, hey, I should probably point out that it's Tuesday. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I did think that. Hi,
Tuesdays
Noreen.
happen.
Hi, Noreen. Thank you for subbing again.
Damn it.
It's always very much appreciated. Yeah, that was my thought process when I was talking to you, and we were both just kind of like,
At
cool.
what point did it become apparent that I did not know what day it was?
Probably within the first 10 minutes of me just talking with you and just being like, have you eaten? Have you had stuff to drink? And you're just like, yep. And like, no further response. So I was like, she doesn't know it's Tuesday.
She doesn't even know it's Tuesday.
She doesn't even know it's Tuesday.
It's true, I did not. I forgot there were days.
I can relate to that when you're just in an endless hellhole of doing the same stuff and not interacting with people. Days very rapidly lose meaning.
Fair start to the first stream of the year.
Hey, Happy New Year, everybody!
Hey, funny.
Did you miss us? I did. I missed us.
I did. A new mug for the stream repertoire. No
Hell
one freak out, but I do actually have a new mug.
I also have a new mug, but that is because my old mug broke.
Same.
I was very upset my only D&D mug broke.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I was very upset, and I told my mum and dad because my mum and dad were the ones who bought it
that's
for
why
me.
you fuckers are here. Fuckers are all here because the Final Fantasy
Because
queue.
they queue in.
That's what you get. You get your savage raids, but you get stuck in queue.
We're both here just like, thanks for coming to the stream. They're all there just like, they don't know we queue in.
They don't know I'm trying to savage raid. Savage raids came
But
out.
yeah, so I told mum and dad, I was like, the mug that you got me last year broke, I'm so sad. And because my dad is a wizard, apparently in that tiny window he managed to find almost the exact mug again and got it for me. So Christmas Day I had a replacement of the exact mug that I'd only broken a few days before, and I literally stared at it and I was like, what?
How did you do this?
So I have the same mug again. But the but the D20 is a different colour, but weirdly aside from that the entire thing is the same.
Mine is much less interesting in that, you know, some mugs have like a seam.
Mm-hmm.
The cheap. The seam on this mug was like, not this mug, but the mug that I replaced this on with, was like here.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed when I was putting liquid in it that it was seeping out of that seam.
Oh no.
I was like, the entire bottom of this mug is gonna go one day. So I needed a new tea mug. Yes, I am actually drinking tea. I'm being good. I'm drinking chamomile tea. Who am I?
We did it, Reddit.
I drink so much chamomile tea. I don't know what happened to me. Right. This is quiet compared to Fluff. That sounds right. Looks to me.
Okay, does mean that the music will go up slightly, so let me turn the music down to compensate. We'll see how that goes. So yeah.
Better? Better volume?
Don't know.
Speak to me, chat.
Okay, better. So, as I was saying to Cuz before we started, I took the leap and have started to learn Blender. But because I'm in very... I
thought I was coming into this stream with unhinged energy. It turns out Blue has actually been more unhinged than me this last few days.
If I had a board, the board would have stuff on it. You know how desperately I want... previously I wanted a board so that I could put, like, D&D theories on it, but I actually need one because I'm now doing projects again.
Yep.
New year, new stuff, apparently. I bit the bullet and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna try to learn Blender over Maya. It's very hard, because I keep wanting to just do Maya stuff, but I'm like, no, if as I said to girls, a prime example, if I can switch from drawing in Photoshop to drawing in Clip Studio Paint, I can switch from using Maya to using Blender. Because it's exactly the same of, like, everybody, the thing that I was using was the quote-unquote industry professional program, but the one that I was switching to was the cheaper, in Blender cases free, but very, very frequently used by just regular people program.
Yes, Blender is a 3D modeling program, is that fair to say?
It is, but it can do other things.
So is Maya.
Yeah.
Talking about game design, 3D modeling.
Mm-hmm.
People who do not know, that was Blue's MO once upon a time.
Yes. The main thing being that, much like with Photoshop, Maya costs a fucking arm and a leg and your firstborn in order to get a license. Whereas Blender is free. You can just go and download it now. That's what I did. I just woke up one morning and I was like, what is stopping me? Went to Blender, downloaded it.
What is stopping me, God?
Went to Blender, downloaded it, installed it, bam, new program. Done.
I really need to share with you the episode of Drawfee that I referenced earlier by accident, where we're all doing like a really normal art. They do like the standard art challenge where they go down the line and they all do the same art challenge, and they get to Julia and she's like, so learn Blender.
I learned Blender.
Just like of nowhere.
The thing is that I committed, because the thing that literally stopped me dead in my tracks is when you load up Blender, there's actually an option to use either Blender's key maps or what is referred to as industry key maps, which when I googled is basically Maya. And I literally was tested for a good 5 minutes of like, do I just use Maya's key maps and then I'll know what I'm doing? But I was like, no, I said I was going to commit and learn the new program, I'm going to do what the new program does. How do I? Yeah. Well, the main thing that kind of drove me to it was that if I don't use the default Blender key maps, any tutorial I look at will be wrong.
Yes.
Because they'll be like, oh, press this key. And if I'm using Blender's key maps, it won't be that key. So I was like, if I'm going to be following tutorials, which I am, I need to be using Blender's buttons.
Anyone else who was upset by that book being in that position, I have fixed. And I looked over to my camera and was like, oh. Yes.
So, yeah. And the reason that I'm not... I think in the future I will do Blender stuff on stream. The reason I'm not currently is because I am in such early stages that the stream would be, 3 hours of a fairly blank Blender screen with me looking off screen watching a YouTube video, which is not great. So I want to learn a little bit more before I start streaming doing Blender stuff.
I look forward to watching your unhinged science experiments happen on the internet.
That's the Unity stuff. I haven't even started talking about Unity. Because I'm that unhinged that I simultaneously decided not only would I learn Blender, I would learn Unity too.
I'm like stressed listening to you.
Within not quite the same day, but within 2 days of one another, I downloaded Unity and then downloaded Blender.
Blue, this is a cry for help.
No, it's not. It's just my ADHD brain screaming over its latest type of fixation. It'll probably it'll calm down.
Have actually heard the explanation for this process, and it is one of those things where Blue had. There's a goal that Blue's trying to get to, and she could have like shortcutted her way there, but her brain went, no, there's a series of things that need to be established in order for me to do this. So I'm going to barrel through all of these things.
I am going to do it, damn it.
It's like, unless I do it this way, will not. It's very endearing.
Thank you.
I must do this the most difficult way possible. I have no idea what I'm going to work on right now.
I'm just doing mindless warlock, which is fine for me.
Yeah. I feel like because I'm in hell, I should just write something... Nothing. Just put no pressure on it at all.
Absolutely.
I was going into the new year, I was like, on that stream I want to make more original stuff, because I've been writing too much fanfic. But like... I'm going through a lot. Right now. I'm dealing with a lot right now. So
be kind to yourself.
Nonsense, I think. So I've got a lot of feelings to process, so...
Be kind to yourself.
Hey, Kay!
Hello!
As your life as an elite pro-raider...
Salty.
Kay's decided that he's going to do Savage Raids. Because he likes the gear. You're also in the queue, Kay, and that's why you're here. I'm rating the Final Fantasy 14 queue right now. Told you. 0.5 came out. Like, 6.05 came out today. It's just Savage Raids, treasure maps, and items, basically. But everyone's like every 0.05, yeah, that's it. Like, if you go in the Final Fantasy category, it's like everyone trying to get world first Savage. It's like,
oh, that old chestnut.
At speed. Was anyway last night. It's not now. It has been achieved. That's why there's a little bit of a queue then. Someone got a damage buff. I know, like you weren't pulling aggro already. Someone got more damage for some fucking reason.
It's the game telling me that I need to continue leveling up Arcanist.
Yeah. We keep doing endgame content. We've done a lot of endgame content recently. Just for the Phoenix skills. Yeah, but you were already pulling aggro off of the tank. As we were doing end content, kept literally pulling aggro off Naren with Summoner. Just Bahamut.
Mm-hmm.
Try to be sassy again, Das, when you can put the sentence in the right order. Bahamut pulls aggro. Phoenix is a good boy.
Sounds about right. I think that matches up with the lore of every game ever.
Yeah. Zaku's okay. Definitely my favourite of them. Biased. We got a bunch of nerfs because we were too strong. They're only little things, they're only little nudges. To be interesting. We haven't spoken since I finished Walker, huh?
Nope. I didn't even know you'd actually finished it, to be honest.
I have.
Because I was kind of off the grid for the entirety of the Christmas period, I'll be real with you.
So was I.
I didn't really speak to anybody. Like, the other night when I was in Discord with Das and Frog was the first time I'd been in there for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, I noticed when I came in very briefly. Just to steal Naren and then my internet go out. Yeah, I played an unholy amount of Endwalker before I left. Then everyone went insane waiting for me to come back. And then the day I came back, we finished Endwalker. I mean...
Nice.
Yeah. It's done. It's over.
Yep. Can relax now. Cries into tea.
I mean, obviously I can't say shit about it, but like, it's incredible. It's like...
Yeah. I know, but also I don't want to know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you shit.
Yeah.
Like...
That's literally how I feel about anything. It's like, whenever anybody's like, oh, it's so good, I'm like, I know it's going to be good because Final Fantasy XIV is good. Now say no more about it. Now shut up. But I know it's good, shut up.
Gets my little thumbs up in the corner. I got Rupert to 90 waiting for girls. What's funny about, like, I was only gone for like a week. I wasn't gone for like a long time, but it was, in the context of how we'd been living, it was forever.
So how's your Pokemon journey going?
Oh my god, this we can talk about.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Again, because I was so busy over the Christmas period, like, getting ready for Christmas meals and hosting people, I actually didn't play a lot of Pokemon, so I think I'm, like, the farthest behind out of everybody. I don't even have my 3rd badge yet. I am so early in the game. I know that you're super far ahead now.
Did, because I played it straight for 3 days.
Yeah, I know. Because it's your
I knew I wouldn't get to play it again.
Yeah.
For ages, and I haven't been able to play it since, so hence why it's still in the case. I'm only opening this to look at my party. I'll put it away. But
my party is now solidified. I just need to evolve them.
I think same, essentially. Even though I want to put this out there, I know this is not a good party.
Who cares about a good party? You have a party of what you want.
Yeah. Just a different party. It's a good mix of, like, Pokemon I've had before, Pokemon I deliberately didn't have, and then Pokemon I've never used. Yeah. One of them needs to be replaced.
Yeah. As we know, because I talked about it many times on stream, my party, aside from my starter, is all Pokemon that I've actually never had on my party before. There he is!
Boy.
There he is!
Yeah. He's actually a boy this time. Toby's here. Yeah, Infinite. I have a Luxio this time. Because I could never have a Luxio when I used to play this game. Both my sister and a brother had Yes. It's like their main Pokemon. So I was like, well, I'm not having that.
I had a Luxio multiple times.
I've literally never had a Luxray, so it's my time. I have a Miss Magius. I actually have a Miss Magius this time.
Hey, yeah.
Told you last time.
Yeah, I know. I need to get the Dust Stone for my Murkrow because we literally have the version exclusive opposites of each other, the Murkrow and the Miss Magius.
Yeah. I have a Roselia. Obviously, it's going to be a Rose Raid. Rose Raid was in my classic party. Unfortunately, all the shiny stones are post game. Even in the underground.
Yeah. There's one in Iron Island.
Oh, I do know where that is. There's one in Iron. Okay.
There's one in Iron Island somewhere.
I've currently got a Manaphy, but I want to replace it.
I like how our teams are fairly parallel with each other because I also need a shiny stone because I've got Togekiss on my team. Or Togetic.
I just got a Togepi actually.
Yeah. That's funny.
I've got a Manaphy, but I want to replace it. I feel like having mystery gift Pokemon in my main team is cheating. Kind of want a water type there that's different, but I might not for reasons of Mamoswine.
Big boy.
I have a Mamoswine because I talked about having a Mamoswine before, but we were like, it's so late. Then I was in the underground. As Blue knows,
the underground is like the best feature in this remake.
I've been living and dying in the underground because we talked about Spiritium, and I took it personally. um, so I've been spending a lot of time in the underground. I ran into a fucking Swinub. Was level 30.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay. Sorry, it was level 35 or something. So it was like, it literally needed to go up a level to evolve, and it already knew ancient power, so it needed to just go up 2 levels.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I found a Gliscor. Nice. I found a Gliscor in the underground, and that did tempt me to have its evolve form in my party, because that's another one that I've never had. It's almost as if the devs realised that in the original Diamond and Pearl, all of these evolutions you can't get until either post-game or super late in the game, so they put them in the underground instead. Hence why I've got a Murkrow and Togepi and all that jazz.
Yeah, I've got things for blue. Weasel? Never.
I
hate that guy.
Pelipper.
All my least favourite water types are in this game.
I know.
I should also acknowledge, if people caught what my Mamoswine was called, I should also acknowledge that this is what my Luxray is called.
Hey! It's a good one. It's a good choice.
Azal. All of them are references to all kinds of shit. So Mamoswine and the Luxray called... Okay. My Luxray is called Zarek. My person will get this. My Miss Magius is called Mina. Roselia is called Rosie because that's what my original Rose Rape was called. Manaphy is a joke only I'll get. And then my Mamoswine is called Moonbreeder.
Hey.
Because... But yeah, I need something else. I need to get rid of that Manaphy. I don't know what to put there instead. I feel like it should be a water type though, right? I think I've got it in my head that I always need a water type because of Surf. But then obviously...
It's not needed anymore.
Not needed anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Surf and Whirlpool and Waterfall has bred an entire generation of Pokemon trainers that think they need water types. And you don't anymore.
Just don't.
Just don't.
Keep getting absolutely annihilated by every Skunky I come across. I need to deal with that somehow.
You should be using your Mamoswine then.
Just got it, so that will be my new.
Because I believe Poison is weak to ground. So get ground type moves on that boy.
Oh. Good to know. I think it's got all like ice types plus ancient power right now. That's it. So. Yeah, before that I can't remember what I was using before that actually. Oh, I had a Rhydon.
Ripe, yeah, that evolves into Rhyperior. Ground and Psychic is how you deal with poison.
Yeah, I've been kind of fudging it with my Miss Magius because it has Psybeam.
There you go then. Again, I was preemptively trying to team build just based off Cynthia, just basically being like, well, I know she has Garchomp, and I'm gonna get Togekiss to cover that, so I'm Gucci there. And then I was like, okay, I will need a grass type because she's got a Milotic, which is also pretty nasty. So I now have my Eevee, which is now a Leafeon, which has got me covered on that front with a grass type attack.
Decided what to do with that Eevee you gave me, by the way. I don't know what to do with it now that I've used the Dusk, because the Dust Stone. Historically, I've always got a Flareon, but then it just goes in my box, so I'm like, I should find something to actually do with it.
Make it a Vaporeon!
Not a bad call.
Just thinking about it, make it a Vaporeon.
Then this really would be Vicky's party. Luxray and a Vibarian, this would be Vicky's party. Not a bad call though.
Yeah.
I've never had an evolution in my main team. So I always make Flareon happen.
Yeah. I have had a Vaporeon way back, and by that I mean it was my Pokemon Yellow, because Jolteon was my fave out of the three, but I didn't want to double up on my starter Pikachu, so I chose Vaporeon, and it was pretty good. It was fairly tanky back then. I don't know how it compares now.
I remember Vicky's Vaporeon always used to kick my ass.
Yeah. So I've got my starter.
And I didn't understand Pokemon typing.
Got my starter, which is Primplup at the moment. It's not yet evolved. A lot of these are not yet evolved because, again, I haven't even got my third badge. I've barely passed second gym.
I didn't check my badges. I think I'm on like fourth or fifth.
Murkrow, which will become Honchkrow when I get the Dust Stone, which ironically I believe is in the town with the third gym. I got Togepi that will become Togekiss.
Dust Stone.
I've got
Go on.
Which is the one I'm already forgetting. Starter, Togepi, Murkrow, 2 Eevees, because I've never had Leafeon or Glaceon. Yeah, that's why I haven't advanced very far, because I waited a few days for a friend to trade me an Eevee when they were available.
Oh yeah, your Eevee quest.
And then I spent many days breeding more Eevees, because I was like, well, since I can, I'll see if I can get a good nature. And it took me actually forever to get good natures. But I have them now. One, I backtracked to the forest and have evolved a Leafeon, and now I have my other Eevee that I'm waiting to potentially evolve into a Glaceon so that they're, like, donezoed. And I feel so bad that I can't remember what my 6th Pokemon is.
Okay.
That's how long it's been since I played. I can't remember what my 6th Pokemon is. Pachirisu. I never had Pachirisu in my team because I always had Luxray instead.
To be fair, since I've had Luxray, every Pachirisu I'm encountering is like absolute beef. Got what they were like.
It learns Nuzzle, which is just a great way to give people the middle finger because it's a guaranteed paralysis. Low damage guaranteed paralysis, which is a good way to infuriate people. I was running
for a while with a Onyx, so I had something in my team that was capable of dealing with some stuff. Just throw a super effective attack at a Pokemon, you think it'll kill it. Every time Pachirisu is like, no. I refuse to die.
So when I look at my team, I'm like, the biggest hurdle for me is probably going to be the last gym. Because I've got Water Starter, 2 flying types, and then Pachirisu, and then I've got Glaceon and Leafeon. So I'm probably going to rely on Glaceon and Leafeon to get me through Electric. They're not super effective against it, but Leafeon is at least resistant to it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be leaning heavily on that duo to get me through the final gym.
Yeah, I had that problem with the Psychic gym? Which one is it? Ghost?
Yeah, Ghost. Yeah, Fantina's Ghost.
Yeah. Where it was like, oh, I didn't have Miss Magius at this point. Like, oh, I don't have anything. But what I did do was in the underground and I ran into a Ralts.
Hey, there we go.
And I went, borrow a Gardevoir. It
Borrow
was like
a
one level off.
Gardevoir.
So I caught an Iphignia. Because Gardevoir's an Iphignia's Pokemon. Quickly leveled it to a Gardevoir and just steamrolled. Steamrolled with the Gardevoir. And I put it back in a box. Carried on with my team. Because I was like, because Gardevoir was like the pillar of my Sapphire team. It's like, I can't do that again, but thank you for your service. For people who missed that discussion, Gardevoir is the iffy Pokemon.
Yeah.
The Iphignia Pokemon. It is.
To get Cubone. Cubone is in the underground, but you have to have the national dex unlocked, unfortunately. So
it's a pain in the ass.
You do what I did with my Eevee and try to find somebody who has beat the game to trade you one, if you want it in your team for the game.
Yeah.
Which is again why I was so far behind, because I was waiting ages for a friend to be like, hey, I've beaten the game and I have an Eevee.
been spending a lot of time in the underground. I'm at 19 unique NPCs, by the way.
Oh, wow.
19.
Getting there. Slowly.
For anyone else who wants to do this.
Go on, share the story.
Oh, this is genuine advice. I was under the assumption that the NPCs, if you had just like the main area, like one area unlocked, you... For anyone else who wants to hurt themselves. I mean, yeah. But if you kept running around, it would cycle through every NPC. That is not true. You have to go to the other zones to get some NPCs. Like, it might be possible, theoretically, but I was stuck in that zone, and then you cycle through the same, like, 10 or so NPCs. You can get a lot out of them. A lot. I think you realistically to do this need like 2 or 3, like 3 or 4 of the zones. If not like the last one, you at least need a couple. Because like, I was running around that main, the first bit of the underground, you get 4 days. And just got to a point where I was encountering the same ones. But like, if I've got 3 areas of that unlocked now, if I encountered that many in each zone, I would have enough. Makes sense. Yeah, it's also very helpful to have other objectives when you're doing this. So, you being like, hey, can you catch me a Magby? And my sweet boy Infinite one-shotting the only Magby I ran into was actually very useful. Because it meant I could run around a little circuit that I'd made.
Yeah. Included
the Magby rooms. Like, I'm also helping.
Happy to help. Great way to hatch eggs, I imagine, as well.
If anyone needs eggs hatching, I have hatched so many eggs. That's why when you said, oh, I'll trade you for Eevee egg, I was like, I will not have a problem hatching that, so please do. And I literally hatched it like an hour later.
First random Pokemon of the year! Hands in the air, bless this stream. A Charizard Mega.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a vibe.
Mega Charizard Y. I said that funny because that's how it's formatted on the page. I'll tell you what. I quite like Mega Charizard Y.
I do too.
Charizard X has like the edgelord coloration, but in terms of its like shape, I like it. Oops.
Ah, yes, I do too.
I like both of them.
I didn't realise there were 2 types.
Yeah, because Nintendo doesn't have a favourite, guys. It doesn't have a favourite, and it's totally normal that Charizard got 2 Mega Evolutions and a Dynamax form. They don't have favourites. Don't have favourites.
This wouldn't have to happen if Charizard wasn't the best. Charizard, I'm sorry, that's just how it works. They came out the gate with a fucking big ass fire dragon and were like, we have to top this now.
It's very funny because apparently the person who designed Charizard, they wanted all of the starters' final forms to be like a surprise in the game, because nobody told them that they were going to be put on the cover of the box. So they just wanted to be like, oh, you get a Charmander and a Squirtle and a Bulbasaur, what are they going to evolve into?
Get that.
Next TCG set is going to be coming out before long, which took me by surprise because I was like, already? Jesus. And it's got Charizard in it, so it's going to be a popular one.
Your box for blue. Next time I see blue.
Is for me.
I've briefly peeked in it. We don't know these are my Pokemon cards.
Is for me.
Found these when looking for other books. And in amongst the books was these. Know that there is a stack of loose cards about this big and my old Pokemon deck. Whatever my most recent deck was that I was running.
That'll be so fun to compare to my modern deck, because my modern deck's pretty gross. I've explained it to you before, it's like an energy mill deck.
Yeah. It's a very basic bitch kind of thing, but I haven't actually looked through them. So there might be nothing in here. There might be a lot in here. This is the era that it's from, this and before. So there's a Mewtwo in here somewhere.
Fair
Guarantee
enough.
that. Because probably be a Mewtwo EX actually.
Yeah, it'll be an EX.
2016. This is from. So. Next time I see Blue, which is at the end of this month.
Yes.
Just gonna go.
Yes.
Take. Whatever from here you want, take. Want all of it, take it. I don't mind. But it's just a mystery box that I have made for my friend, unintentionally.
I'm resisting the urge to just devour all of these skills, but there's only a handful left, so I am just going to shove all of these in my mouth.
Speed. My team is Roselia, Scyther, Houndoom, Dabra, Graveler, and Empoleon. Yeah. Roselia's so good. Wish Rose Raid I could get earlier, but I've got Iron Island unlocked, so I will be down there.
You got a lot there. You got a lot there that needs trading dash. We'll have to hook you up so that you can get some trades done.
Yeah, I keep running into Houndooms in the underground, and I caught one, and I was like, I just want puppies. Give me the puppies. The puppies. I gotta check my team now. Right. There's like 85,000 things I want to write, so I'm not like stuck. Bridgie puppy? No, I have so many. Like I run into Houndooms 24/7. I don't need them because I have a Firestar. I have an Infinite. So I have one. I just don't need them. Forgot how much I love Infinite though. I just say. I forgot my adoration for Infinite. I've built it differently and I'm like aware that I have. Like, remember when I had Infinite before, I was like, I just want fire moves. I don't care about fighting moves. For close combat, that's enough. Now I've got like one fire move and the rest are fighting. I've been played since FF came out. I'm assuming you mean M Walker. I haven't played Pokemon since Final Fantasy XIV released. No, since The Realm Reborn.
Just Final Fantasy itself. He hasn't played it since, since the 90s. Since Final Fantasy
1. Of course. I need you to know that I had a weird... Because I had a weird nap before this. I had a really weird dream that I was at some kind of con. This is kind of what I remember. And that Final Fantasy was involved somehow, but like, it had members of leaders of FCs go up, but I couldn't because I had a PS license, not a PC license. And so I sent K in my stead. I need you to know that happened, K.
I mean, before you finish that, I was just gonna like leap in when you were like, I dreamt I was at like a Final Fantasy con, and I was like, you mean the freaking Mog con that we got invited to?
No. I wasn't at a Final Fantasy con. I think in my head, because of course, I think it was like CoxCon.
Alright.
But Final Fantasy wasn't involved.
Final Fantasy
FC leader now.
Final Fantasy panel at CoxCon. It'll happen.
Like, if I know my brain, it would be some kind of, like, again, my dreams, I rarely have them, and if they are, they're not, like, any kind of anything, they're just kind of shapes. Like, knowing my brain, it would be something like, she was like, we're gonna run this trial. Send the people.
The beacon is lit, Jesse calls for aid.
My party is Krogunk, Golduck, Altaria, Staraptor, Torterra, and Luxray.
Nice.
That is a very you party, Kay.
It's a very cool team.
Yeah. Kay got given dream responsibilities. It's the only place I get them to. That's real.
I never had an Altaria in a team because Swablu's normally later on in the game. Again, kudos to the Underground.
50,000 of them in the Underground, yeah.
Yeah, kudos to the Underground for just opening up like a million different late game Pokemon for you to have in your team at the start of the game.
Grunk will obviously get involved. Him and Golduck are all I'm set in so far. Fair. I mean, you got a Torterra and a Luxury in there. You're doing pretty well. You're trying to listen to other things, but I just want to listen to Encanto.
Yeah, Mega Charizard Y's got a long tail.
Yeah.
Boy got his tail extended in his Mega Evolution.
More to hit you with.
I like long tails. Maybe it's one of the contributing factors to why I like Charizard Y.
This form.
It's a lot longer than both regular Charizard and Charizard X's tail. It's also got some spikes on it.
Hey, Trips.
Hello, buddy. How's it going? Happy New Year.
I'm tempted to put a Dustox in my party. Reads with your Butterfree agenda.
Wild.
I hate that Pokemon. I hate Dustox so much.
Not a fan, I'll be honest.
The Butterfree agenda, yes. I know UK. I know you and your Butterfree agenda. It's like, I'm gonna have a Butterfree with every status effect on it.
Oh, God.
Always does.
Dang bug types and their status effects.
With my fire starters, always.
I normally have a flying type of some description. Again, bred into a spy. Well, I need a flying type because I'm gonna have fly.
Fly, yeah.
Always gonna have a
I
flying
got
type
over
for fly.
that, but not the surf. I think yeah. I always used to build my teams around HMs more or less. But like I can remember every water type I've ever had, but not every flying type. I remember in X and Y, my thing that had fly was my Go-Goat.
Yeah, Go-Goat! Amazing.
Why could Go-Goat learn fly? Good.
Yeah, I remember that battle of just Go-Goat versus Go-Goat. Just surprise, my Go-Goat can fly! So does mine! So does mine, bitch!
Remember that forever. I've always said I'd be an electric type trainer IRL, but I actually think I would be a bug type. I see that for you.
Yeah.
Do you know who you would be, Kay? You would be the Team Skull captain.
Your boy Guzma!
You're in Guzma. You can just be like, no, bug types, I'm gonna make them happen.
Your boy Guzma? So what we're saying is that the true K Pokemon is Vikavolt.
Oh, 100%. It's not even a joke. An Aaron, I'd swap it out, but it's also natural dex. Yeah, natural dex will get you. Oh, Vikavolt. Done it. Yeah.
They released
bug trainer. I so see.
They released Joltik and Galvantula in Black and White, and then it immediately got overshadowed by Vikavolt in Sun and Moon. What if we did an electric bug type but made it better?
But what if it was actually good?
But what if it wasn't a spider?
But what if? Not a spider. Everything in this folder of figs I'm looking at is a work in progress, and I'm staring at. Pick one. Everything here needs work. Fucking pick one. 2 things that are finished in here. A folder of like 80 things. The
random generator. My first glance. My first glance. My first glance was that Mega Charizard wasn't that complicated, but now I'm drawing it, I'm like, okay, no, it has got complicated stuff to it, so this may be another one of those cases where the warm-up ends up being the entirety of the stream.
It's fine.
Because I want to draw it, but it's probably going to take me a while.
The thing I lost my mind at is I just googled bug type Final Fantasy 14. That's so real. I keep doing that with my because I'm doing a lot of my uni stuff. I keep typing for stuff I'm looking for and then putting FF14 in the end.
That's hilarious.
Be Brock, wouldn't I? Necessarily.
I thought we said you were Steel type. Or is that Thane? I can't remember. Thane's Steel type.
It's Steel type. Thane Steel.
Thane's Steel.
The Fire type trainer. I'm not even gonna pretend. I could put on the facade of pretending, but no.
I like a lot of Fire types, so I could very happily be one. But if we're going for like aesthetic, it's Flying type.
Flying type. It's not even an argument. It's like with me, it's like Ghost is kind of getting up there, but no.
I need to like doodle a concept for a Flying type Arcanine. Because that's it. It'd be the Blue Sky Wolf. There we go.
And then you just draw blue. Well, K's Guzma, so who am I? K's only Guzma because, again, adamant on making bug types a thing. Stop trying to make fetch happen, etc, etc. Yeah, you would just end up drawing blue, but orange.
Now that's the thing, I already know how it would be, because it'd be like Arcanine, and it'd be blue, but the fur tufts on its feet would be clouds to make it the Flying type. Because it would walk on clouds, then that's why it'd be the Flying type. So I already know how it works in my brain.
Oh, that was... Ooh,
I want to see the Hisuian Arcanine, Game Freak.
Now made me think about what a Fire Ghost Ninetales would look like, and that's sick.
Ooh, that's very cool. Especially since it was speculated back in the day that Ninetales could potentially have had the Psychic type attached to it, but then it just didn't. But it still learns a few Psychic type moves.
It's true, because it's meant to be like a wise spirit, right? It's meant to be literally like a.
Well, that's what
spirit.
Kitsune. Yeah, Kitsune. That's what Kitsune were like.
I like the K's. We memed about K being a bug type trainer, and he's immediately like, "I know what my team is." Butterfree, Skyzer, Vikavolt, Centiscorch?
Yeah.
Rebeetle, Crustle. Although, I want a Sidinja instead of a Crustle, but I don't know. I don't know what most of those Pokemon are.
They're all good types. They're all good.
What I love about this, Kay, is that me and you in this are mortal rivals because I hate bug types. Which reads for our real life dynamic.
I definitely like to have an Archon or Archops because I think it's a great Pokemon, because it's a Pokemon based off my favourite dinosaur. Yeah. And it's a good way to throw people off because they're like, haha, I have bought electric types to deal with your bird. It's like, cool, here's a rock type.
What gym would be the one that, like, much like Cynthia's Garchomp, like, people go into the game being like, okay.
Oh, the ace.
How are we gonna deal with with this gym? Yeah,
that's what people refer to as either your ace or your signature Pokemon. So, like, for Brock it was his Onix, and Misty is her...
so, like, the one that's hard to beat.
Yeah, the strongest one on their team, and the one that they're always, like, pictured with. Also, obviously, Cynthia's is Garchomp and things like that. Lance is Dragonite.
Tails Ghostfire would be so strong. I'm saying. Ghostfire Pokemon, though, there's an implied, with Ghost Pokemon being the way that they are, TM, there's an implied layer to that that's pretty dark.
Yeah. The new Zorua is ghost type, and it's really sad because like the flavor text about it literally implies that like people hated it, so it fled to the north and then died. And it's just so sad.
Ghost types.
Baby.
Definitely not queuing for Savage right now on FF. Doo-doo-doo. Good luck. Good luck, my friend. I haven't heard anything about it, so it might be real easy or it might be really bad. Yeah. I don't know what mine... I think, honestly, like, my ace Pokemon would be Ninetales, because it would always be the one associated with me, but the one in my, like, gym roster that would be, like, people would be like, oh, would probably be Salazzle.
Salazzle's a good one.
Because people hate Salazzle. To fight, I mean, not in general. Salazzle's mean. But what if fire poison? It's like, what?
Such a dirty combo. As soon as I discovered it, I was like, oh, that's good. I'm gonna have that. That's a nice, interesting. That's an interesting combo. Which happened again in Sword and Shield when they gave you Toxtricity. I was like, electric and poison? That's cool as hell.
They're really slapping poison on some shit right now, and it's great.
We're like, you know what? We're gonna give poison rights.
What if poison had rights?
Because up until now, everyone was like, no.
Like, poison's one of the ones. There's two types of Pokemon typing. Pokemon typing I really understand, or Pokemon typing I could never understand. Poison matchups, I don't understand. Like, I can't keep them in my head, they don't make sense to me. It's the same with, like, Dark. Some of them I've started to learn, like Psychic I've gotten a little bit better with. Ghost I've gotten a little bit better with. But, like, yeah, Dark, Fairy, and Poison I just can't remember the type matchups for. Which is why Skunky keeps kicking my ass.
Yeah, we know you like Cubone, but in a more actual balanced gym situation.
Yeah.
It's
like Ninetales would be my like Pokemon I'm always with, but it's also just like Ninetales.
Yeah, like I would have Arcanine obviously, but if I'm a flying type gym leader, then I'm not gonna have Arcanine, which is sad.
One of those ones where they're always walking around with Pokemon, but it's nothing to do with like you are Cynthia. Like you have a gym, but you're also Elite Four. So you have your like gym Pokemon, and then you have your crazy Elite Four Pokemon. Forget how much I forgot the plot of Diamond and Pearl. I'm gonna be honest. I've been playing it, and like. Reference, I'm at Lake Verity.
Oh, nice.
I was like, oh, this just happens, huh?
Yeah. Stuff just kind of happens in that game.
It's like, oh. Bombs? Wild. Fucking wild. Forgot this happened.
I guess for flying type it would probably be something like Altaria because, like, dragon types.
Every time I've encountered Altaria, it's kicked my ass.
Yeah. Like Altaria's probably like just a good one to go with, but there's other ones as well. Like again, Togekiss is pretty tanky, and
Togekiss.
And the fairy typing is still quite new for some people.
Brutal.
So it's hard for people to get their head around. But then there's like Noivern, flying and dragon again. And Corviknight, flying and steel. So, good choices. Probably collectively have all of them on my team. I just don't know which one would be the ace.
Oh no, would probably be the Togekiss, to be honest.
Yeah,
because they're fucking ruthless. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to pick between all my sweet firefighting babies.
The fire type gym, but nobody can tell if it's fire or fighting because you have so many firefighting Pokemon.
Just full of firefighters.
The entire team is just firefighting, and they're like, "Wait, are you a fire trainer or a fighting trainer?" And you just go, "Yeah."
Oh. Is it the steel gym in Downpour that just lies?
It's the fire type Elite Four member who has a team of 6 with 2 fire types.
Oh, I did a gym in Downpour. I think it's the steel one. Not the actual gym leader, but the gym leading up to it. Like, I challenged someone and they had like an Asmoril. Why are you in here? Everyone else has just had like 5 Steelixes. I was like, I get that. This is a firefighter fantasy, I see. 14 of them. No, I just love Blaziken and Infernape. They more or less same tone of Pokemon, but just they use different weapons.
And then you can have
Punches
and then you can
kicks.
have Incineroar at the back going, "Surprise!"
It just bodies you. I don't know which one I would have, actually. I feel like because it's me, it would have to be Infernape, because I've got like a sentimental attachment to Infernape, but I do love Blaziken.
I do like Blaze. I think I like Blaziken more than Inferno.
That's level 100 Pokemon.
Hey.
Oh no, what are you doing? It's distracting me. Fortunately, I think I know what this is, Kay. Yeah, I've got good news for you, my man. I already have it. I did PvP for that. Oh, my angel glamour. Oh, what?
There we go.
Okay, we literally had a conversation, like, I want to say like 3 hours ago before I took my nap, about how far we would go for gear. To new 580 gear? I had to PvP for nothing, Squeenix. Is it baby? What have you recovered?
Soft.
What is this? What is this? What have you got?
I have babies that I got for Christmas.
Couldn't tell if one of them was Sadie.
The answer is none of them.
Yeah.
I had 3 babies for Christmas. Because my boyfriend loves me very much and knows that I like plushies.
Favorite thing I got for Christmas.
That
guy right there.
To be fair, I pointed this one out when I was out in the shops with my mum. My mum was looking for presents from somebody, and there was like just a very small plushie pile, but in the pile there was this little wolf, and I was like, "Oh, it's so soft and squeechy." So I guess she mentally wrote that down. Because this was in November.
Yeah, then.
And then we've got these 2. Got a slightly bigger blue dragon and a little blue dragon. And they've both got sparkly wings. And the story behind these ones, because I have this fella over here, is when we went and had our holiday earlier in the year, which was our first holiday for like frickin' 5 years, we found this in a shop, and Spook got this for me. A little black dragon, and then a few months later, we discovered that there was a blue version of the same dragon. So he got me the blue one.
Here we are.
And then simultaneously spotted that there was a little mini, literally Aurora patterned baby dragon that goes with them. So he got that as well. So now we've got a little family of little baby dragons here.
Plushies.
And another wolf, so I got a little squishy cuddly pile going on here.
That. And my favorite thing I got for Christmas is this guy right here. This is a projector. This is a star projector.
Yo!
And I love it so much.
Hell yeah.
Everyone in chat is tired of me talking about it because I talk about it all the time. I can't turn it on because it would blind you all.
It's the first time I've heard of it, so you're welcome to talk to me about it.
Basically, because I spend a lot of time in like places I can't decorate at all. One of my my roommates has this, and it was like a nebula and also stars. So and you can change the colors of everything, so you can kind of make it fit vibe. And because it covers like the whole room, it makes just like bland white rooms have a bit of character to them.
Nice.
So for the last not tired, we just laughed that it made you sad when you accidentally match your lighting to a bad zone. That's the thing that happened.
Only you could do that.
Completely by accident. But basically what I've been doing when I was like on the move over Christmas, because I got it for Christmas, in the evenings I would just turn it on, turn all my lights off, and I would play Pokemon.
Aww, that's so cute.
And it was great. Hang on, let me see if I can turn this on without blinding you all, shall we? Do the classic ninja thing of like, there's a lot of shit in front of it.
Hey.
Pan my camera up. My lights are all on, so you can't see it, but
I can see that.
Pretty good.
Oh, that's cool. I love that.
Pretty sick.
That is amazing.
You can like turn the stars or the nebula off and change all the settings and everything. It's great, and it's also a speaker. So
hey,
that's been like peak vibe. Like it made me realize how little I actually just do nothing. You probably relate to this, Blue. Like even when I'm like not doing anything, I'm doing 8 things. I feel like I should be doing 8 things.
Yeah.
When I was just like, I would have some chill vibe music on. I'd have all the lights off and there's like stars happening. I'd be playing Pokemon and be like, oh damn, I should just do nothing. Like actually relax more.
Yeah.
Relax more. 2K22.
How portable is that thing? Because I would totally be down for you to bring that here.
The box is about this big.
Oh shit.
Fuck it, I'll bring it.
Yo, we could totally vibe in the living room with that.
Oh, Fantasy High Marathon just got so much better.
Yes! Yes! Oh my god,
it's easy to make Blue happy.
We're gonna have
one of life's true joys.
Pretty starlights. We're gonna be binge watching Fantasy High, and we can play Pokemon together. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be like the best weekend ever.
We say all this, and then we get there, and we're both like, we're too tired.
Too tired.
I want to sleep.
But Ghibli movies are right there.
But yeah, and then when I've been playing Fantasy, I've been doing the same kind of thing. All my lights off, just having the stars and the nebula out to people who are opposite me in my building, because they probably see just on the edges of my... I've like gone downstairs and I looked up at my blinds are on the edges. You can just see this like crazy fucking light just seeping through the edges, and it's like...
That girl's opening up that portal again.
Fair, not the craziest lighting setup I've seen in this building.
Yeah, that's just university.
They're crazy with LEDs.
That's just university.
I think she's listening to caramel dancing. Sometimes I am.
Whoa, whoa.
The speakers on this are very good, so I have been home alone for the whole year so far. Like, just been blaring some and it's assessment season, so my music taste has really gone into the unhinged trash pile of anything that it sounds terrible but is intense. So I have just been absolutely blaring some really atrocious music. So shout out to anyone else in my building who has just seen a combination of 3 things: crazy light coming from my window, some absolutely unhinged music coming out of all my speakers, and my oven nearly exploding. Can
we hear about the oven story, please? I'm concerned.
You join me in the dumpster of music, Kels? I've always been here. You merely inherited the dumpster of music.
Molded by it.
I was born in it. So, since we moved in... This is such a student story. Since we moved in, if you put our oven on grill and you heat it up too quickly, it would start, like, the actual, like, filament bit, the top, you know, the grill bit, would start, like, rattling. And we were like, oh, it's just because you heat it up. If you, like, open the oven door, let it, like, down a little bit and then heat up slower, it's okay. Cue, I'm the first one to come back from Christmas. It's New Year's Eve. I'm like, make some pizza. I call in, not a problem. I come back, and as I'm walking down the corridor, I can hear this, like, rumbling, and this, like, really metallic clanging noise, and I'm like, that's weird. So I open it, and I go in, and I am, like, fully disassociating, so I just turn the oven off, and I'm like, that was a thing.
Oh my god.
That's fine. Is why we finished up my M Walker? Yes, it was.
Oh my god.
So I went and got my pizza. And then I came back. Didn't think anything of it because, again, I wasn't really there. So the next day, so New Year's Day, 1st of January. Oh no, this must have been later. Time has been fake. But, like, oh, I want to make pasta bake. So I, like, did all that. My hob's completely fine. All that. Put my oven on to heat up, and while I'm, like, making my pasta bake, I start hearing that rattling again, and I'm like, okay. So I open the oven door, let it kind of cool down a little bit, but it's not stopping. In fact, it's going into the, like, sound range of, no way to put this. It isn't gonna sound bad, but I promise it's okay. You know what, like, one of the, mounted saws sound like? Like that really intense...
That sort of...
Yeah, that noise. That exact noise. I'm like, this is bad. It keeps getting louder, and I'm like, back away from the oven.
Oven shouldn't make that noise.
So I'm like, I'm gonna leave the room. Fully leave the room. Because the door's open, I'm like, it might just still be because it's too hot. So I turn the heat off, and I, like, back up. Leave the room, and I'm like, I'll wait for it to calm down. Doesn't. It fully doesn't. And at this point, it is making, like, the most horrific sound I have ever heard. And I'm like, well... Sit outside my kitchen. Oven is not calming down. Phone is in there. Playing music through my Bluetooth speaker still. So I can't even, like, call somebody without going near the oven. I turn the oven off, it might fix the problem. It might also explode.
Oh my god.
I just stood there for like 5 minutes being like, oh. Eventually I'm like, okay, I get the phone. So I get the phone. And I'm standing in my corridor. Again, the oven's still making this horrific noise, but no one is here in this whole building, as far as I can tell, apart from me. So I just tell the maintenance thing. I'm standing there and I'm like, wait, but no, it's like 1 in the morning. What the fuck? I have to deal with this right now. So I have to, like, go in, and I'm like doing that thing where you have your body, like, well away, but I'm like, I need to turn the oven off.
Mm-hmm.
So I just turn it off, and then it goes and stops. So needless to say, I haven't turned the oven on since then.
Really?
Has been fun time here.
Oh my days.
It was also fun because I knew I had assessments to do, so I bought a bunch of food that I could cook in the oven so that I wouldn't have to cook.
Right.
So now I don't have any food. But I do have beans. It's fine. Student life.
Did you at least hand in the maintenance thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Done 2 now. But I'm relying on the building. I don't know who's here. I don't know who's here. So. See how this goes. At least, like, the hob is completely fine. It's a completely different system to the oven, so I'm not, like, without options here. Means I have to actually cook, which is my least favorite thing. Not true. That's a slight lie. Means I have to put more work in, because as a vegetarian you rely quite a lot on frozen food, like corn and stuff. Anyway, that's my fun adventures in oven.
Oh my days.
Need anyone who doesn't know in stream to know they only told me that because I've been they only got me to tell that story because I've been vaguely alluding to the oven exploding for the last 3 days. It's funny now.
You can always laugh at stuff in hindsight.
Yeah. When your oven's not making a chainsaw noise, it's easy to laugh at it. Yeah, that's basically been my week. It's been that work. You're watching Encanto over and over again. Pretty much it. Hi, Frog.
Hello,
Idea
Frog.
for Kalistar Rogue as an antagonist for Rainbow Egg and as Ikara to Earth Kinsman.
I don't think Kalashtar's a weird one because they don't have defined appearances, so you can kind of do whatever.
Oh.
Yo, hello. That's real cool.
Sick. The cool thing, because I was literally, the words about to leave my mouth was Kalistar was in books and stuff always just look like people, but they have like their whole thing is like a psychic element.
Yeah.
Done that already. I was thinking about Kidra today. Hey, welcome to self-isolation, Naren. It's very cool. I was thinking about Kalistar because I was thinking about Kidra.
Hey, the boy.
I put We Don't Talk About Bruno on kids playlist because of course I did.
Hey!
Don't talk about Kidra.
It's very fitting because he is a divination wizard.
He's a divination wizard. He's also just profoundly weird. he has that kind of Bruno quality of just being an exceptionally weird dude. Hand is very sweaty. He would say that. Everything that Bruno says in that movie, Kid would say.
I love Bruno so much. I'll probably rewatch that at some point.
Love Bruno forever. He's the most regular person in the party and is still very weird. Correct. I love Bruno. Love everyone in that movie.
I feel like I passed some kind of test the other day because I made a new friend in VR chat and we were talking a lot about D&D. Because it was that immediate click of, you play D&D? You play D&D? D&D person! Latch onto one another. And then halfway through the conversation, she was like, wait, what is your default race? And I went, Aarakocra, and there was this pause, and I was like, did I answer right or did I answer wrong? And then it was just very gently, I like you.
Again.
I was like, yes!
Oh, can I tell a D&D friend stories?
Go for it.
So I went home over Christmas for the first time in 2 years. I saw my sister, who I've already alluded to on this stream. And we went out and we had dinner. It was the first time we've talked in 2 years.
Hey.
One of the first things she says out of her mouth is, "Hey, I'm playing D&D now."
She kept
want it
that
on record.
quiet.
On record, I gave her her first set of D&D dice, and I introduced her to D&D a couple years ago, but she never had a group.
Aww.
Then her boyfriend and a bunch of our old friends from school came back. Well, her old friends from school came back to town, and her boyfriend got into D&D, and it all happened at the same time. One of those friends, they apparently have board game nights, which obviously anyone who has board game nights knows. Eventually, that becomes D&D.
It becomes D&D.
It becomes D&D. And apparently, this was like a thing of like people throwing around like, yeah, we can play D&D. And one of them arrived one day with a literal suitcase. Pulled up the suitcase, opened it, and it is full of D&D books, minis, DMs.
This is me. This is me.
About 50 binders, and goes, "My characters, I'll run."
Yes. Yes.
So they've all made characters, and also one of her boyfriend also wants to run, like, so they would have 2 games, or like alternating games. Literally, I went around their house again. First time I've seen them in 2 years. It was just a whole thing of like, you run D&D, don't you? I'm like, I run and I've played for years. Like, can we just ask you a bunch of questions?
Aww.
And I was around there for 2.5 hours.
Yes.
They just made me coffee and asked me questions about D&D.
Hell yeah. You and me have we've had very parallel experiences, because this person that I made friends with after we'd been talking for several hours, they were like, oh, you actually DM? You don't just play? I was like, yeah, I've been DMing for years. They were like, could I get some feedback on some stuff? Because I don't have anybody that I can ask, because all of my the only people I know who play D&D are my players. Yeah, so I'd like just met this person. I was like, yeah, just send it to me. So I was sitting there. This was in VR chat, so I like had the headset lifted up off my head, looking at my phone at my Discord where they were DMing me these Google Docs that I was reading, and every so often I would flick the VR chat headset back down to look at them and be like, I'm really liking this, and giving them feedback. And they were just there in VR chat, sort of like, you know, fidgeting with their hands, like waiting for me to reply.
Bless.
And I was like, this is really good. Why are you so, you don't have to be worried about it. This is really good.
It was so cute because the first time I've ever been the veteran player in a space. Ever. Much. Which was a weird feeling. Bunch of like, the kids' questions were like very practical DMing questions. Like, it was obvious that like, understood the idea of DMing, but it was a lot of like, you have maps, how do you handle how you reveal it? And like, do you put all the monsters on out as soon as they get there, or do you like place them as you go? And how do you track HP? Like, very practical running questions. And I was like, I know what kind of brain you work with. I get you. But yeah, she's playing a Tabaxi Ranger.
Hell yes.
Of course she is.
I got one of them. Love it.
I can't remember. I think she's a Beastmaster. We went back and forth on this for forever, but she couldn't remember. It's like a type of Beastmaster. It's not the revised. It's like a different, like, homebrewy one. Or like, it's one of those ones that was like from like Sword Coast or something that's like very specific.
Is it actual Beastmaster, or is it like
No, it's like something. It's something like that. It functions the same way.
Is it the new Fancy Fizzband one, the Drake Warden, where it's like you're Beastmaster but you have a dragon?
Although she was offered that. Their their DM is very much like one of those ones of like, you want to play that? Fuck it, yeah, go for it.
Hell yeah.
You want to play this? It's cooler.
Yeah, I'm gonna be.
You want to play homebrew? Sure.
I'm gonna be running a game with a bunch of new players, and I am sort of like. I'm gonna just like introduce it to them gradually and basically be like, oh, if anything, we'll stick to anything that's official, and I'm gonna list off all of the players' handbook stuff just to keep it simple. But if none of that meshes with you, I will offer you things from the expansion. So if it's like you want to play a paladin but you don't want to be ancients or vengeance, I will offer you some of the other paladin oaths instead.
Yeah, if it's any help, from what I can tell, again, these guys are completely like the whole group entirely new to D&D, like the concept of D&D, let alone anything else. There's like one person there who knows what they're doing. But their DM literally was like, you need to pick a race and a class. Here is all the books. In order of how weird they are.
Nice.
Just look through them until you find something that takes your interest. Like, it wasn't overwhelming for them. Like, it was just a case of, like, just find something you think is cool. So, like, they've got Minotaurs in there. They've got Baxi. They've got, like, Goblins. They've got all kinds. Because they just, like, picked up, like, Volos.
Hell yeah.
They were just like, what about Volos? Why not? Just like pick something cool.
Hell yeah.
One of them's a satyr, I think.
Oh nice, that's Wild Beyond the Witchlight, which I still don't have.
Wild Beyond the Witchlight, or is it Greek one?
Oh, it might be the Greek one, yeah, Theros. I also don't have that one.
They're gonna be in the rules expansion apparently.
Oh, sick. That's great, because that was the reason
are going to be in the rules expansion.
The reason
I can tell from what they're putting out.
Oh, dope! Because the reason I don't have things like Wild Beyond the Witchlight and Theros and stuff is like, well, they're mostly settings books that have additional content in, and I don't want to get settings book in case other people are going to use them for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy an entire book to get one race, kind of thing. If I'm not going to use the rest of the book.
It is from Theros. Yeah, I thought so. I was playing Minotaur. Yeah, Minotaur are cool.
I made a Minotaur once. I think I used the UA once. The UA one.
I would need to find a way to make them not glory. I've been avoiding buff women characters for a while because I just keep making glory.
Mine was very much a Ferdinand the Bull kind of character. She was a Minotaur where it's like, well, everybody in the herd was about, you know, being buff and strong and doing, and she just kind of liked to make stuff. She was an artificer. Just didn't like getting into fights and wasn't very strong for a Minotaur. She still had like ridiculous strength because that was their racial bonus. But I think she was a gunslinger because artificer didn't exist at the time. But if I played her now, I'd make her an artificer.
I think the Minotaur's a race now because it adds more use to that asterisk on the maze spell.
Oh yeah.
That Minotaurs automatically succeed the save.
Yeah, labyrinthine recall.
Just so funny. But yeah, I don't know why recently I've just wanted to play D&D classes that I said I'd never play. Bard, Druid, Artificer is all I want to play at the moment.
Nice. Like I said, I got a bunch of newbies that want to try out D&D, and I keep saying like, oh, we need to make characters and stuff. I'll grab you guys at some point to roll stats, and I still just haven't done that yet. And I said to Spook,
because you decided you need to code D&D into VR chat before you can do that.
Yeah. Context for chat. The friends that I've made in VR chat.
Full circle on this conversation.
The friends that I've made in VR chat want to play D&D, but they said, could we play it in VR chat? And I was like, I guess. And there are D&D worlds in VR chat that we could potentially use, but they're all not quite how I want them. So of course that meant the immediate next step of, well, I need to learn Unity so that I can make my own VR chat world, so that I can play D&D in VR chat.
I would like everyone to track the velocity of that jump. Like, these worlds here don't quite fit what I want. I still want to run D&D in VR chat, so I have to learn Unity to recode VR chat.
Not coding. It's
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm not doing a lot of coding because I can't code to save my life. Because the easy part, quote unquote, of game engines is almost like The Sims, where if you have a bunch of assets, you can just click and drag them into the world and build it with like Lego blocks. The bit that I'm struggling with is the bit that requires a little bit of coding of like getting dice to roll and things like that. And like I want to try. My hope was that if I make the world. And I own the textures and stuff, I could then put the maps into the world. And I can put their character sheets in, because I was like, well, if we want to run it in VR chat, we still need the character sheets, and people are going to have to keep taking their headsets on and off to look at their sheets. So I was like, well, I need to import their character sheets into VR chat. I can only do that in a world that I have made. You can't just import stuff into other people's worlds. But I mean, in order to add their character sheets, they need to make characters. So maybe tomorrow or something.
Especially if they're like, this is an assumption, but I think potentially a fair one. If the people in VR chat, they obviously have some investment in the idea of characters. So letting them just like go off on making characters while you're doing other stuff is potentially a good way to do it.
Yeah. That's the thing, because I think currently some of them are 50-50 on if they're going to be making characters or if they're just going to be playing them, quote unquote, themselves, but obviously the characters that they currently are in VR chat.
Yeah, very familiar with that as your first impulse.
And I've just said to them, it's like, I am down for you guys to do whatever you want. I just want you guys to have fun, and I will try to guide you through the rules part of the game.
Yeah. The thing that sister asked me as well that was a good impulse, I think. She obviously has known me for my whole life, so like she was like, watched some CR because I want to see how it works.
It's a lot to take.
I was like, oh, do you want like actual plays to watch? Because I can list you a few that are like pretty short, so you're not like watching CR.
Because CR's a lot to take in.
And literally they were both like, yes, for both DMing and playing reasons, we want to watch other people play it. So I like that that's an impulse, because that's honestly the best way to learn. Like, I was thinking about it when I was with them, because they're so new, so coming from zero. They're not coming from having watched a bunch of CR, like, or like even when I started playing, I'd watch like Titan's Grave and stuff. Like, they have no basis for this at all.
This is the thing.
I was like, oh, how the fuck do you explain D&D from nothing?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like back in the day when we were playing. I remember when CR was still quite a new thing, and we were all playing D&D, and we all noted that the moment that people started watching CR, there was a marked, I don't want to say improvement, but improvement is the best way I can think of it, in how people play. Just like people became more fluid and started to think more creatively. And obviously now there's a million different things that you can pick from. You don't just have to watch CR. But at the time, CR was the only one. It's only now that there's a wider variety for you to pick from. But we've seen ourselves.
Other tabletop RPG shows, just not D&D.
We've seen ourselves the benefit of watching these videos, because even if you've got, especially things like big things, if you have them on in the background, then you do kind of absorb things by osmosis at that point.
Yeah, and there are a lot of now like shorter 6-episode campaign things that are so much easier to consume than all of CR. Obviously, I'll get off CR now, but I wouldn't put that on like sister. But I'm like, Battlefield Beyond is only 6 episodes. They do a good amount of RP and a good amount of combat, so you can get a balance. So like, so there's some choice out there, and it really helps. It helps so much. So much.
I can't wait to watch my Dimension 20 when you come around.
Honestly, I haven't engaged with a lot of D20, so that it's a little more fresh for me when I come around.
What little... I mean, obviously I've seen highlights, and highlights is, you know...
And meme that I've sent you.
Yeah, they're highlights, obviously it's the best bits, but all the bits I've seen have been good.
So excited. Like, yeah, it's so good. Different spice of D&D content, shall we say. Fucking astoundingly good. Fucking Starship comes out this week, I think. Fucking the new series for D20. 20 are playing a sci-fi series. Modified 5th edition.
Ooh.
A world, I think I've said this before, the world that they're playing in is the world from a set of reasonably well-known sci-fi comics, I think, or novels, that are written by Brennan Lee Mulligan's mother.
Of course.
Because, of course.
I don't think I could learn anything new about Brennan Lee Mulligan and be surprised anymore.
Was it the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire one that broke you?
A little bit, yeah. The fact that this man won Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and probably used all that money to start his own D&D show. Like, of course. Of course.
What else do I know about Brendan Lee Mulligan that I don't think would surprise you? I think I know so many random fucking facts about me. Oh my god. Inordinate amount of bird facts you already know about.
I know about bird facts. I'm a big fan of bird facts. Bird facts.
What do you know? My favorite thing about bird facts is that it comes from Mischief and Magic, as you know. You've seen the clip of it. Where makes a meme in Evan Kelp about albatrosses, and Bria's like, how the fuck do you know that? And Lou is like, do not test this man on his bird facts. But what I need you to know is since then, pretty much every show that Abria and Brennan have both been in, bird facts have come up again. But like, not intentionally. Like, so like in Battle for Beyond, there's a moment where Brennan's playing a feral tiefling, so he has wings. And he says that he does like a peregrine falcon dive. And Abria's just sat there and she looks into the camera and just goes, fucking bird facts. No one catches it. It's like that. And then that happened again in the Strixhaven game. Because one of them is an Alfolk.
Yes.
Which I haven't watched. I haven't watched the Strixhaven game, but I heard it was an
I need to make an Alfolk so
nightmare.
bad. I need to make an Alfolk so bad. I think when they were first in North Arcana, I considered making a rogue one, but because they've come out with Strixhaven, part of me wants to make one that's like a Strixhaven thing.
Yeah,
but I need to have the book to look at it, though.
Torn because my Aarakocra that I have isn't out. Now I'm like, do I keep him as an Aarakocra, or do I make him Alfolk?
Honestly,
he hasn't come up in anything. I've had him as an NPC filed away for a while.
It's going to be one of those things where it'll only matter if you need to play him mechanically. If basically, do you want like do you want stealth,
Druid.
or do you want super fly speed?
The druid
Could go either way.
Yeah. It's
I think technically Alfolk would be slightly better because I feel like Alfolk get more wisdom, but I might be misremembering because I think Aarakocra get wisdom as well, but I think it's their +1, and I think Dex is their +2, whereas I think Alfolk might potentially be the other way around. They get +2 wisdom, +1 Dex. Not 100% sure though because I don't own the book.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck I would play in a Strixhaven game, by the way. No idea. It's too much I would want to play in a Strixhaven game, honestly.
That's the problem of just being given the concept of you're in magic school. It's like, oh my god, there's so much I could do.
It's even like, yeah, there's that level. Watch Fantasy High. But also, the Strixhaven colleges. Like, there's multiple colleges that I like. There's more than one college. It's not even like, oh, I don't know what kind of character I want to play, but I want to be in this college. It's like, no, there's 2 colleges I really like. Actually, there's 3. It's like, well, that doesn't even narrow that down either.
Mega Charizard has very strange wings. They do
tattered, aren't they?
Yeah, they do not look like they would support them at all. They're very thin down at the base.
Bone wicker wings.
They're very thin down at the base.
I fucking love this song. Crank that shit. Would you both still want to wait till the end of January for pop? For whatever.
I think that's more on you, girls.
Yeah. I will see how I go. Message you.
It's gonna feel weird playing D&D again because everything stopped at the same time. Like,
I'm dying.
Especially from me who plays so much D&D, all 3 of my games stopped simultaneously, sort of like at the end of November, so to go almost 2 months without a single D&D game, it feels very strange. It's probably good, because my brain probably appreciates having the rest.
Yeah, you definitely needed it. I am losing my mind. I'm going insane not playing D&D.
I didn't feel like I was burning out, but I don't know.
Probably needed the rest.
Because that's the thing,
D&D
is that...
is my lifeblood, I run on it.
That's the thing, we weren't playing, but I was still thinking about it, so I was just like... Am I taking a break from D&D? Not really, because I still spend almost every waking moment thinking about it.
Started, like, on the switchboard of my brain, started refiring some Oak switches. Like, major ones, just like the odd one. And I'm like... Get back in!
Yeah, the potential of this new game obviously got my brain flickering a little bit, but obviously it's flicked it in the wrong direction of, well, now I gotta start to learn Unity, like, what?
It's so... You know why I'm laughing.
It's just, I know it's such a leap.
But it's also just like, of course.
I want to, just the million steps that when you take it out, like, is so bizarre. Of just, I wanted to play D&D with some friends, so I learnt how to code in Unity. It's like, what? It's like there is a path between there, but it's a very convoluted one.
It's so me and you. In so the kind of nonsense way that mine and yours brains work.
I don't know how well I do, because obviously I don't want to just leave these people hanging on for like months while I make this world. So if it reaches a certain point in time where, like, you know, X amount of weeks has passed, I will have to say, screw it, I can't do it, I'll use one of these other worlds and we'll make do. But I'm gonna give it a try.
Like a set amount of time to be like, if it's not going anywhere after this point, I just need to let go. Took Endwalker to distract me. Honestly, I think Endwalker, with so long without D&D, I feel like Final Fantasy was the only thing keeping me going. Of just like a thing that I can put my brain onto. Serotonin production.
You gotta have that hyperfixation. You gotta find one somewhere. I think the one that I found was VR chat.
Yeah.
Because they were almost simultaneously. If D&D got cancelled, I got into VR chat.
Yeah. Final Fantasy.
And I still don't
Final
even own a
Fantasy,
headset yet.
Is it fair at this point to call Final Fantasy on hyperfixation? Because it's been my hyperfixation for over a year.
I think that's just an interest.
Yeah, I think that's just a thing that I do now.
I don't think that's hyperfixation, I think that's just an interest.
It's like been at hyperfixation levels for a year. Is it just a severe case? I have sinned my hours for this year. They're not good.
Oh.
They're not good. I need you to know, I realised this. PlayStation wrap-up normally happens at the end of January rather than December. But I have realised that I will not have a top 3 games on my most played on PlayStation.
Because you didn't play 3 games this year.
I didn't play 3 games this year on my PlayStation. Yes.
Good night, bud.
I played probably about 10 hours worth of Vampire. Probably. Played 1,700 hours of Final Fantasy 14.
Oh my god.
Like, I think something like that. It's like 56 days. Something ridiculous. Disgusting. The only game I've played this year. It's the only... It's like tracking how much free time you've had in a year. Is every time I wasn't working, I was playing Final Fantasy. Or playing D&D.
Fair enough.
Even then, sometimes. And obviously, it doesn't have the advantage that D&D has in that it kind of anchors the week. Because when there's no D&D, time is just soup.
Yeah.
Time is a weird soup.
Yeah, I felt that. Like we had Art Stream to anchor us a little bit, but obviously the Christmas break happened where we just didn't do it, and those 2 weeks just blurred.
Well, I wasn't about for some of it as well, so like, the stream was happening without me. That was weird. Like, oh. It's a very weird time. I hate
Very
December. December, worst month.
Yeah, I think maybe mental note to myself of sometime tomorrow, maybe grab a few people and at least get some stats rolled.
Yeah,
because none of them know what to do, so they are all waiting on me because they've literally never played D&D before ever. So I'm like, so they're like, cool, how do we make characters? I'm like, well, you should probably start with some stats, and then it's just sort of like, cool, how?
Yeah. It's up to you as well as whether you go like, we'll do some stats, or we'll be like, what kind of character do you want? Like, I guess stats would probably make sense.
People have kind of already got what classes they want, because I did when I very briefly explained to them what D&D was, because they were like, oh, we've always wanted to play D&D, but we don't know anything about it. I was like, well, there's loads of races you can play, and there's, you know, like 14 classes. So I just listed off the classes, and just off the names, they were like, oh, I want to be the wizard, I want to be a ranger, I want to be a rogue. So we've got that. So I'm going to try to guide them and be like, okay, you say you want to play the ranger. What kind of ranger what do you picture when you say ranger?
Yeah.
And I will try to guide you towards a subclass that will help you do that.
Yeah, it's interesting looking at, like, there was that meme going around on Twitter a while ago of, like, your first character versus your current character.
Oh, yeah.
And it does make me laugh.
My first D&D character...
It's so true. The minute you start playing with veteran players, everyone's fucking weird.
Yeah, my first D&D character was literally just your basic bitch. It was just, you know, Wood Elf Ranger, you know, just the typical me character that I basically played in every MMO, of just like, I play a ranger, I use a bow and arrow. And that's about it. And I have the personality of cardboard. And now it's like, what are you playing? I'm playing an Aarakocra warlock who is the child of a hero of the realm, who has extreme anxiety and self-confidence issues.
I said on Twitter that my first D&D character was Glory. First tabletop RPG character was a half-elf pyromantic sorcerer. Because that's just my default.
Oh yeah.
But like even Glory is like, she was pretty bare bones on purpose because I didn't know what I was doing. But then like my most recent character, I think I talked about Pox on there, but I actually realized my most recent character is Kid. So my first character was a deliberately simple in concept tiefling fighter who used a big sword and was Tonk. Most recent character, a Kalashtar divination wizard who who is deliberately weird and off-putting, will talk to the voice in his head out loud, and the voice in his head is trying to make him be a better person.
So good.
You get weird the longer that you play D&D.
Mm-hmm.
I think because if I was gonna like dissect it, because I'm in academic brain at the moment, it's a thing of like, I remember there's a really good episode of Adventuring Party with Siobhan Thompson on there, where they talked about reverse engineering characters of like, I can't remember what they called it. I'm just gonna find out as I'm talking. Where like, I think they called it justifying. They would roll a class race and look at the class abilities, and they would like reverse engineer a character from that. Being like, well, if you can do this, what kind of person does that imply?
Oh yeah, I did that like as I went with Delmara.
You do it as, you do that like if you've been making characters a long time, if you've been in the game, you do it automatically.
Larson has redeemed to take a sip and posture check. I'm out of water, which means I'll be right back because I gotta go top it up.
We'll find this while I drink. Try and find this episode of Adventuring Party. One with Caldwell? I know that. Hello, Lon.
Hello,
How we doing, my man?
Thank you for the health check. You probably can't see on the camera, guys, but there is a Christmas Pokemon TCG back there that will be opened on stream at some point. It didn't get opened last week because I had sick and couldn't speak, but as you can tell, I am better. So that will probably happen sometime this week. I know that Sunday is usually my TCG day. That won't happen. It will probably be this week because I'm still here. Whereas Sunday I will actually be having plans for pretty much all day. So that's something to look forward to at some point.
But yeah, the episode of Adventuring Party, which is Adventuring Academy, sorry, is a podcast that Dimension 20 ran. But the episode is Finding Fun in Failure with Siobhan Thompson. We talk about Unsleeping City on there, just as a warning. Yeah, they were talking about like justifying, and I think the longer you play, the more you look at like classes and subclasses and races and stuff, and you go like, what kind of person? Like if you look at like, I don't know, Echo Knight, or like a Phantom Rogue, right? Like you literally have your rogue abilities that are one from the spectre of people, a dead person. There is so much implied in that. There is so much you have to build off of that. You kind of can't just be like, bam, I'm this. You build into the system. Hack the system. And I think the more you play D&D, the more you want to do that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Warlock effect. And they've done it a lot more with the modern classes, because obviously Warlocks you kind of get it from the get-go because you have a patron. It's like, well,
same with
Paladins. How did that happen? I feel like with Paladins and Clerics, people don't think about it as much because it's just oh, I just pray to my god. But it's like, well, a patron, it's a pact, and they're otherworldly beings that aren't necessarily gods, but they can be gods. So there's a bit more implied. Whereas I think a lot more of the modern classes, all of them are a little bit weird. So it's like, well, how did this happen? Like even like like there's even a lot of them even come with stuff of like, how did you get this class? Like the Drake Warden is like literally
you're started doing that more, and it's so good.
With the Drake Warden, it's like, well, you're basically essentially a Beastmaster, but you literally have like a Drake egg. So it's like, how did that happen? How did that happen? So there's literally a list of like, oh, you got given a Drake egg as a reward from a dragon, or like you stole a Drake egg, or you had a dream.
There's tables for it in Xanathars for the Player's Handbook.
Yeah.
It's really useful, because some of them are really weird.
Yeah. And even if you don't use them, that kind of stuff is good to at least get you thinking.
Yeah. Kels, you introduced me to Dimension 20 just about to finish Escape from Bloodkeep. You went in the hard way. How did you find it? I did not get through a lot of Bloodkeep because the spider lady.
No thanks.
Love Erika Ishii a great deal. Can't deal with spiders.
Nope.
I love the concept of Escape from Bloodkeep. And I know the myth about Escape from Bloodkeep, and I love that a lot as well. I can tell if people are okay with me spoiling what the end of Bloodkeep isn't. Matt Mercer just being a lovable failure. That's why most people watch Bloodkeep.
Aww.
Mac never rolls well when he's a player.
He does not, poor boy.
He really leans into it in Bloodkeep. I watched the first episode of Bloodkeep and it's really funny. Escape from Bloodkeep, for people who don't know, is Dimension 20's attempt to make an all-evil campaign. It's all based around extreme horror, full evil army. It's like what is the castle and the army of the bad guys look like?
Excuse me.
Did not go that way. Everyone ended up making characters that are really great. Welcome to everyone who's got into D20 because of me. I would apologize, but I wouldn't mean it. I apologize for the person I will become when there are more series of D20 shows that I like. They do another series. I think they'll do one more season of Unsleeping City, and if they do, I do actually apologize for who I will be when that is airing. Excited about the new the sci-fi one they're doing because it looks from the trailer, it looks like Zach Oyama's playing a smart character. Which, historically, is not allowed. Has to be stopped. Because Zach Oyama's way too good of a player to play smart characters. He has to intentionally nerf himself to play. He's the Travis Willingham of the
Oh, I see.
He has to intentionally play dumb characters, otherwise he just solves everything. Even when he's playing dumb characters, he tries to hint to other players. You'll see this a lot in Fantasy High if we end up watching it. He tries to as a dumb person, hint at because he's already worked it out, but he can't tell them.
That's pretty funny.
It did. He does play smart characters. Chancellor of the Pan Cadbury. Icon. I seem to recall when I was writing this, I have been chipping away at this as I swear I haven't actually just sat here. But when I was writing this last time, there was a very specific song I had on loop to get the tone right. I can't remember what song it was. Now the tones are not right. Upsetting.
Child. Child.
No, Sadie.
Here she is. To say Happy
There's a
New
month I'm
Year to
coming for
everybody. Here she is.
Oh, I can't believe Blue. I actually do have a legitimate news update for you. I have gotten better with cats.
Hey, you can thank this one.
Yeah, she did actually help because my mum, a kitten.
Aww.
Her name is Violet.
Oh.
And I realised that for 5 days I was going to have to share a house with this kitten. And so I had two choices. I could either try and avoid this kitten the entire time, which I did initially go in with the intent of doing, or I could try and on with cats for 5 minutes.
Hey, there you go. That's how they get you.
I did remarkably well.
Hey, there we go.
Did pick her up more than one occasion. I did have to, every time I wanted to pick her up, go and retrieve Hoodie because I wouldn't pick her up without my arms being fully covered.
I mean,
glasses on.
With kittens, yeah, they're not very used to it yet, so they flail a lot. If you pick up a cat somewhat regularly throughout its life, they'll get used to it, kind of like how Sadie...
Yeah, she is a shoulder cat,
Yeah.
she wants to be up here.
Aw, baby.
I'm terrified of that, so... Yeah, she was fun. She's about this big.
Aww.
She'll like, I can put her in my hand and she'll like fit there. She's a little tortoiseshell cat. Fucking hates their other cat.
Nix.
They have a old ass honky ginger tomcat Bill. He hates his ass.
Yes.
Very playful. It was also kind of helped by the fact for the first like 2 days I was there, she was also terrified of me.
Yes.
She'd only been around, like, she'd never left the house and she'd only met my mum and her boyfriend. But, like, I entered the house, she was like,
Hoops.
Especially because as my brother pointed out, my brother is incredibly cat literate. He's a cat whisperer. I was stomping around the house for the first few days in my big docks.
Ah.
So I was making noise.
You sure were.
So, like, it was like, you're probably scaring the shit out of her because you just stomp everywhere. I'm just like, I can't help it. I'm big and I'm stompy. But yeah, so it kind of helped because she was getting less scared of me at the same rate I was getting less scared of her. But that didn't stop it being immensely funny to my family. Someone who is just like pretty ever all the time. Flashback to my oven story earlier. But like being absolutely shit terrified of this tiny kid.
Adorable.
Just absolutely shitting it. Still wouldn't pick up like a full cat. It still scares me. I'm sorry, Sadie. I might do it if you sufficiently tick me off, because that's why I ended up picking up Violet the first time. Came into my room. We had to keep like blocking my room because she was trying to get in there so bad, or the room that I was staying in, I should say. Mm-hmm. She got in there. I opened the door just a tiny bit. She came straight in.
Aww.
And I was just like, I was so tired at the time. I was like, no. I just whoop. I was like, no. Funny because they were like, just to warn you, don't lock her in our room at night because she doesn't know all of you. Back door might be open, stuff like that. But she makes really loud meowing noises at night.
Oh, really?
And I was like, I think I'll be fine.
I'm familiar with that.
And they're like, are you sure? Because like, it's not like when we had dogs, you know. I was like, no, I think I'm good.
Did you explain why?
Yeah. I was like, let me tell you about Sadie.
This little gremlin.
I have heard some sounds. And she was like, my mum was like, I don't know, she's still pretty bad. She was nothing compared to Sadie. She'd like occasionally make a slight. That was it.
You'd be hard pressed to find a cat that can match Sadie. I think I've had cats all my life.
Unhinged eldritch noises. I should be less terrified of Sadie when I'm around this time. To be fair, Sadie was humanized a great deal for me by the cone of shame.
Oh yeah, you got to see her with her cone.
Cone of shame made me a lot less afraid of Sadie.
Poor Sadie.
I just see like a highlight reel in my head to the Benny Hill music every time I think.
Poor thing.
I'm just credits for watching. I can just see it. It's like a meme compilation in my head. Just Sadie trying to
do anything.
Like walking like a normal cat and then just like getting to a doorway and not even like edge of the cone would slightly scrape the wall and just stopping. Just like, I can't go on. There's no way forward.
This is an impenetrable barrier.
I'm going to be like, Sadie, okay? She just...
You can keep going, you know?
It's like, there's literally nothing stopping you.
She's just like, no, I can't carry on.
No, this is the end for me.
This is it.
You just like slightly shift the front legs and she'd be like,
I can't, like, never mind, it was a false alarm.
But then, like, I don't know why I'm describing this to you because you saw it, but like, her head would sometimes just sink down and she'd have the same thing but with the floor, where it would like slightly donk the floor and she'd be like, this is the end.
Poor thing.
It's like, no, just literally lift your hand slightly.
I just remember us all.
Funniest fucking thing I've ever
I remember
watched.
us all sat at the table after we'd given her ear medicine, and she was on the airbed behind us. I'd never seen a cat look so dejected. Just lying there on your pillow with this cone around her.
See, that was like, she was way more comfortable by that point. We first put it on her. It's so funny because she would just move around normally, like completely normally, and then she would just stop. So it's not like when you put socks on a dog and they just can't function at all for a while. It was literally like she'd be completely fine and then she would just find the smallest inconvenience and be like, perish.
My life is ruined.
This is the end. I foresee no way forward. It was such a mix of like kind of sad and so like I'm gonna rupture an organ funny.
She had to because she was itching
bad,
her ears.
but it's literally, you're literally fine. I can see you walking around and then you just stop, so I know that you can move. It's that you are okay.
The most realising confirmation that you need that Sadie is in fact just a massive drama queen, and any sounds that you hear her make is just her being extra.
Lies. Just lies. Words are lies.
Yeah, she still does things like that to this day. Like, she's always, like, frequently her complaint is with her food of, like, I don't want to eat this food, and it's just like, no, there's food in your bowl, you can't have new food, but I want new food. But if you just leave it, eventually, sometimes I'll walk out, she'll be eating it, and I'll walk out the room, and I'll be like, so you will eat it, and as soon as she's caught, she's like, no, I don't want it. And I'm like, you were literally just eating it.
I can see you with my eyeballs.
You literally just ate it, so you can eat the food. She has to eat it, it's medical food. So I'm not being unfairly mean, she has to eat it. And she can eat it, she just chooses not to.
Sadie is the pinnacle of cats. Honestly.
She certainly is in her mind.
I just like, she's so just yep. She's like infinitely cute, massive drama queen, just the most at all times. And just at the same time, equal parts like truly eldritch horror unhinged and a ball of fluff. She's the ultimate cat.
Yeah. That's why when you pick her up, she just goes, eh. But she doesn't actually do anything.
But yeah, when you pet her when you're holding her, she's like leaning into it and like really.
Yeah, she's like, oh, actually, this is quite nice.
Oh. Gremlin.
But a full health check coming by the looks of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a health check. Bad sign in his head. You sent me didn't hear that.
I did not.
God. Hey, spine between my shoulder blades just was like a fucking poppers.
Yikes.
Thank you for the health check.
We encourage water. But it is not mandatory.
We very much encourage water.
We encourage water.
Otherwise, just becomes a different type of stream.
reached that quiet point of the stream.
Yeah. I remember what the fuck I was talking about.
More D&D stuff, really. But, to be fair, I think Charizard's nearly done, so we could probably think about wrapping up, at least. Because it's already nearly 11.
Yeah. Hey, nice one, Aaron.
Hey!
Got Dungeon Master achievement for 1,000 dungeons and trials.
Dang, why?
Real OG.
Yeah, New Year Charizard, first thing I've drawn this year. Because even though
Mega Charizard Y.
Mega Charizard Y. Even though I had my sketchbook with me the entire time, I just didn't have the time or the inclination to do any drawing over the holidays.
Yeah. Holidays is not for doing things. Holidays is for becoming a potato and embracing the joy of blankets.
Very good. So there.
Hi, Trebs.
Good night, buddy. Hopefully we'll see you sometime soon if things start to improve.
Yeah, we'll let you know. In general for stream, we'll let you know on the tweeters what we're doing, when things start up again, as we slowly get back into gear.
Yes, hopefully we will be somewhat regular with art stream. At least I will. You know, Kel's got a lot of work right now, so
got a lot going on.
She might have to tap out occasionally.
I'm gonna try and be here.
Final health check from Core before we go. So Curls might have to tap out occasionally, but I'm hoping that this will be back on its regular schedule.
At least for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I should be here.
D&D for now is still kind of on hold for Wednesdays, but as I said, I've got Christmas Pokemon cards over there to open at some point, so potential TCG stream this week. Don't know when, but potentially. Sorry, Core. Yeah, it is 11 o'clock. It is 11 o'clock here, so we are going to end the stream.
Yeah,
and I want a cup of tea. So,
right. Next week.
See you guys. We missed you.
Bye.
Bye.
New Year.
Happy New Year. Woo.